Lifeweaver has been regarded as the worst hero launch of Overwatch 2, but just like with Brig, it's time to start a revolution to prove that this hero is actually considerable and reliable. This is the ultimate Lifeweaver guide. Lifeweaver is considered a heal bot. From here on out, throw that out the window. Treat Lifeweaver how you would Brig or Mercy. You want to pair this hero with other high healers, and you want to get value out of your utility and damage. Check out my stats on Overbuff. It's not perfect, but it tells the story well. My damage per 10 stat is in the top 10% of players, along with Thorn Valley kills. But check out healing. I'm doing just average, about dead average for healing per 10 stats. You don't win in Overwatch from raw healing, and that's the healer mindset. We are in a support mindset. Damage is the #1 way to victory on this character, and while stats don't account for this, Lifeweaver is the best shield break character in the game, so when you see a shield, endlessly shoot it. So here's the priorities you need on Lifeweaver to get the most out of your abilities. Firstly, never reload on this character. Lifeweaver's reload is clunky and slow. It puts you in downtime, and 1.5 seconds adds up over the entire match and extremely mid-fight. So what do? Swap weapons and literally weave in damage and healing. You need to be monitoring every second when you can switch to do damage for at least 2.5 seconds or have your Thorn Volleys out in order to refresh your healing blossoms. This greatly increases the amount of work you do in fights and ramps up those damage numbers, which is one of the most important things of good Lifeweavers. Never reload, especially mid-fight. And a healing blossom actually becomes charged while you're doing damage, so there's incentive to do this. Just be ready to double-click your healing button to throw out that saved-up blossom. I also wouldn't worry about only doing small volleys or full charge ones. It all comes down to the situation, but I mostly do nearly full charged heals. Don't forget you can slingshot around shields. This includes Mauga ultimate or anything that might be in your way. Secondly, rejuvenating dash is highly underrated. It's really used for two things: self-healing and for ultimate charge, which go hand in hand. This is very important to be mindful to use because when you have enemies trying to kill you, you have that extra burst of self-sustain, which makes a difference in your survivability. So don't use this ability just to move around and have fun. Save it and milk it for its best moment to heal yourself. If you also know you won't take damage but are low, you can dash for extra ult charge. I find that oftentimes pressing tab, my self-healing is nearly the same as my tree healing after a really good match. Let's talk about life grip because it's the best ability in the game or the worst. This comes down to your game sense to make the correct decision when to pull a teammate. Not every one will be perfect, but it's really going to come down to making mistakes in-game and adjusting for the future. A bad situation to pull, for example, to be when a Mauga is half HP on the battlefield and you pull him right as he cardiac overdrives, losing his key positioning and the possibility of him killing someone if they were low. A good grip will be when someone's across the map and the backline slept and you can guide them to safety. It's important to save life grip for key moments with ultimates such as Earth Shatter or Pulse Bomb, but be wary, this is an ability, which means if you need to use it for something else, you must. They could mess up that ultimate later. Pedal Platformer is also great for maneuverability. It's now like an elevator. You can use it over and over again to maintain the high ground for yourself and teammates. You want to try and place these down pre-fight so another platform can charge, but try to throw these platforms for non-vertical heroes to take the high ground in an unexpected way. Platform also helps you escape heroes that are on top of you. Bounce platforms off of walls for more consistent long-range throws too. Overall, the more you live, the more you ramp up in carry potential. This character though is very polarizing, meaning he is really insanely good in the right matchup, but can be extremely bad in the wrong one. Tree of Life is actually a very consistent good ultimate, but let's maximize its effectiveness. Tree of Life is bad against long, high damage ultimates. Be careful treeing into Whole Hog or Kitsune Rush, for example, as they break it instantly. Bastion's turret form also is a tree destroyer, but there are ways to get around this, being mindful with your tree's positioning. Instead of placing a tree directly in front of you and the enemy team, place it behind a corner or a wall if it's good for the situation, so your team can receive the healing for 15 seconds and it's harder for the enemy to break. Tree can also be a great way to burst up teammates and use the tree reactively, but also self-sustaining yourself, as that combined with your rejuvenating dash and pedal platform should make you unkillable. Also, massive tip here, if the fight is over, Break your tree by pressing your ultimate button again so you can gain invaluable ult charge for the next one. How many times have you died at 99%? I find that Lifeweaver is great against shielding, immobile tanks, and relatively low dive. Lifeweaver's gameplay isn't too fast-paced to the high dive environment, so it can be easy to surround him. Reinhardt and Sigma are overpowered to play against as they both are easy to stay out of range and destroy their shields while using Petal Platform and Life Grip to deny their ultimates and abilities. I even find that Winston alone is great for Lifeweaver to break his bubble fast and live with Rejuvenating Dash and Petal. You can even petal Winston's bubble to make him more vulnerable. Diva and Ball may not be great for Lifeweaver and would advise going Brig into these characters, but just about every other tank is rather neutral for my flower friend. In terms of DPS, I would just say dive characters, again like Tracer and Genji, can be countered with Brig if you are good enough, otherwise just live longer than their backline. In terms of your own team, I try to play him with other high healers so you can do more damage, such as BAP, Ana. You can get away with Lucio, Mercy, or Brig, but it probably will force you to heal more. The other strong value with Lifeweaver is the use of Life Grip. Besides repositioning bad teammates, you also want to save this for team killing abilities from the enemy. Things like Tracer's Pulse Bomb, Earth Shatter teammates, someone in Graviton Surge from Zarya. And by the way, if you want to practice not only surviving in your ultimate, but saving teammates, working on your own team, head over to my Lifeweaver training range. The code is HA83G. And this is what you may be able to see when you log into the HSK Lifeweaver workshop. You have the aim trainer, you have life grip practice, and you have ultimate survival practice. So first, you just kind of walk into it, you press interact and melee, and you're able to stop some ultimates. If you press crouch and reload, you're actually able to get a reminder of when you're allowed to swap. So you swap, it makes a noise, and that means you've reloaded. So then you could switch back to your other one. Now you've reloaded, so you switch again. It's kind of to get you in that mindset of when you're able to switch back after so that your thing reloads in time. To teleport back to spawn, you can hold interact for 3 seconds so that you can go to the other ones if you don't feel like walking to them. The life grip practice is really cool. It's kind of fun. You press interact and melee again. It's basically just saving your team, which is really fun and has some cool moments that you're able to get done. Those are two of the same ones. And the last thing we have is basically just an aim trainer. There's kind of different things you're able to shoot and aim for. So you're able to kind of look at a Tracer who's blinking around, and, you know, it should automatically reload for you most of the time. There's also like a Reaper to practice the kind of like the range that you have to go through. So you can practice how the Reaper and how that long range works and how far ahead you have to aim for someone that's walking in a straight line. There's a Widow over here that will shoot you back if you don't kill her fast enough. Genji will deflect if it gets too low, and if you shoot the deflect, you will die. Of course, you can still tree in this, which will save you against the Widow or do anything else. Just live. This character has the most survivability as you can position on the high ground, far away, but still have insane healing, damage, and impact with life grip and tree. You want to be playing almost one step behind teammates to see where they all are and to be able to grip effectively in a fight. You must be doing damage with this character in order to win. Heal botting is not the key to victory, and this combined with never reloading makes the character have nearly zero downtime. Pairing your own hero pool, Lifeweaver and Brig, is a great way to play the game. When Lifeweaver is very strong, Brig can be weak. But when Brig is strong, you could be struggling on Lifeweaver. So they complement each other very well, and do not be afraid to switch off him. Also, I want to mention, don't be afraid to leave a voice chat. When was the last time you can remember someone communicated game strategies? Never. It's only used to flame, so don't be afraid to turn off these people's voice. Let me explain the controls that I have in place too. Mainly for PC, I know consoles have weird settings. I use the newer control settings, not the legacy ones, but it all comes down to your own preference. I also have switched primary and secondary fire so that I damage with left click and heal with right. If you still want to activate tree with left click, you can change the tree activation with secondary fire instead in the settings. I also have it so I can break Petal Platform with interact, so that I can break it without placing a new one, which is very handy. When things can be blurred is in Rejuvenating Dash. With the new settings, you have to jump and space again to get it. I'm okay with the setting as jumping sometimes makes it easier to stay in one place by moving in the opposite direction mid-air, but with legacy controls, it's just one button. Find what works for you. And let's talk about Lifeweaver's perks, because really the only option that has niche viability is in the minor one. I choose Life Cycle because sustaining yourself on this character in combination with Rejuvenating Dash makes him much harder to kill, as you get 10 healing per second the entire time you're alive. If they were playing at high anti-heal composition like Ana plus Junker Queen, you could go the Cleanse for Grasp. In the major perk, I always choose Super Bloom for more damage. The extra healing perk is not worth it, especially when you have to use Rejuvenating Dash in order to proc it. Extra damage may help you secure a kill, but more consistently, it'll help you charge your ultimate even faster. Positioning comes in part with Petal Platform. If you can proactively place down Petal, that is a great strategy, as the next cooldown will come online while that one's placed. This way you can essentially use two platforms if you need to and really break the ankles of the enemy with your pristine positioning. Also, of course, try to keep pathing close to walls and hard cover to take the least amount of damage. Your best friend will not be your other healer. It will be how easy it is for the enemy team to hit you. If you think about hugging closer to walls, the enemy team has to peek more ahead to see you. Another great way to learn a new character is to watch someone else. Come check out my stream at twitch.tv/HolyShiftKid, and thanks for watching.